The MG Show. What real independent journalism looks like.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
I need a sound check out there, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? By the way, I want to see some 17s in the chat, Shady. While we're waiting for them to see if they can hear me, how are you today?
I think I made it. How are you doing, sir?
Wow.
We have had quite the weekend here.
Oh my gosh, everything failed. We just had server. Will Max says loud and clear. 5-5 Scottish Anon 17. Yes,
that's a good sign.
Wow. And how do I sound? This is a new board. My other one broke. My finger still hurts. The power button, Shady, was it's smushed in, and apparently that is something that happens all the time. But I've had this since 2022. So the board was already 4 years old. I had to get a new one. Thank you to you guys on Thursday, was it? I can't remember
Friday.
What day it was. No, it wasn't Friday, was it?
Yep.
Was it? Oh, yeah, because you read the whole time. But thank you. Sounds good, Jeff. Thank you so much, Margaret. Sounds great, Scottish Anon. Thank you. And thank you guys for supporting the show. Mikey Mariano, others, and I didn't go write down the whole list, but there was a lot of donations on givesendgo.com/helpmg show. Thank you all for that. Appreciate it. I still have the face made for radio.
Absolutely. That is not going away. United States says that you sound sexy, Jeff.
Who said that?
That is United States of Q. That is not a compliment I would have given you, but God bless you, sir, for that compliment. And but as a preparation, I'd like to let everybody know that we are currently in the middle of a bit of a transformation here at the MG Show. I would like to thank all of you out there who have supported us. We are late today due to a vMix Zoom error that was completely out of our control. Our Yeti ripped out the computer guts, burnt them, bought new ones, put them in the computer, then reinstalled all the software on it and got us back here within 30 minutes. So that was pretty amazing. So thank you to your great and wonderful producer here, Jeff. But also I would
17s for Yeti. Thank you.
17s for Yeti. Absolutely. He needs a few of them.
Let's go, chat.
You could even do two because we did get here. Shady had his shirt off. He was like out the door. He was headed to the beach. Yeti brought him back in, said, no, sir.
I'm naked from the waist down.
And Jeff is naked from the waist down, but we are here for you and we are here every day. And I'd like to also say that this coming weekend, I'm going to be making a similar transformation. So buckle up, because coming back next Monday, I'm going to be with a completely new soundboard and a new computer here. So we are thankful very much to you for keeping us on the air and for giving us the opportunity to move forward with the Great Awakening, Jeff, because I think that it needs to be stated that what we are doing on the MG show is unlike what everyone else is doing, my friend. We are bringing you the Great Awakening. That is where we peel the onion layers back from all of the operators for all of their narratives, no matter who they're supporting, no matter where their loyalties lie, and no matter who gives them the re-clicks. We will expose the same operators operating from top to bottom, around you, beside you, next to you, trying to really interesting time we're alive right now.
Yeah, it is. And, all we're doing is following the facts, and, if we don't agree with somebody, put up your big boy pants. Instead, you got to get a big ego, right, Shady? I mean, this guy, we platformed him. Like we had him on our show several times. We were on his show and we had a great conversation. And now he's full blown, like taking Hillary Clinton's side and wanting to silence the MG show. And I think it's ridiculous. I think going against Tulsi Gabbard is ridiculous. I don't agree with that. And I'm allowed not to agree with that, right? Am I, or do I have to be in his cult?
No, you're in a cult. If you think that Donald Trump has put the right person in that office where Tulsi Gabbard is, if you think that Tulsi Gabbard is a good person, sir, you are in the cult. Don't you see how this works? You see, if you're on the Raikkonen and Vandersteel side of things, you got to be going after Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi. But, on the other side of things, the Roger Stone side of things, you got to be going after Tulsi Gabbard as you're pretending to go after Steve Bannon, whenever in all reality, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon are competing lobbyists. And it's being reported that I haven't reported on the Epstein files also, Jeff. And it's also being asked why we have an MG show My Pillow code. So
use code MG show at mypillow.com. Okay, go.
Do it.
Do it. You know why? Because we're in America. We're not in a communist country.
God bless you, dude.
My God, I can have any code I want. In fact, I can do ads anytime I want. You know what? Maybe we do one now.
Do one right now.
Yeah, maybe we do one right now because, guys, we really appreciate you guys so much. And we wouldn't be here without mypillow.com using code MG show. But you know what? They can cancel your accounts. They can freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions institutions have total control. Oh my gosh. And they use it. That's why financial independence matters now more than ever. Introducing that Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control the bank and your money. Or excuse me, you control your money, not the bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether, which is tied to the dollar. Tether Gold, which is tied to gold. And Bitcoin, which is tied to Bitcoin. In one secure place. No permission, no middleman, no cancel button. And when you want to support your creators, the creators that you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip the content creator securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line that they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. It's yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. When the system fails and the institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours.
So, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Jeff, for doing that. And we are here after it has been a whirlwind since Friday. And what have we seen? Friday night, we saw what it was that this audience, you guys, have been anticipating for years and years, the understanding that freeing Iran is our purpose. Our purpose was not to capitulate to the regime like every single other administration has done, because they understand that the Iranian regime is the clowns in America. Okay, let's get this clear before we move on in this show. The Iranian country, Iran, the Iranians are controlled by the mullahs. The mullahs are controlled by the global intelligence network. You could call it Mossad, you could call it MI6, you could call it the Vatican, you could call it the CIA, whatever it is you would like to call it. It is the Global Intelligence Agency, which has been controlling Iran's oil since before 1900, everyone. This is part of what the Q drops were explaining to us so that we would be ready for this moment to recognize that no longer is the world going to be divided up between the people that have the oil over here and the people that have the oil over here and the people in the middle that control the oil on both sides. No, that's not what's happening any longer. What's happening is the man that we put in the White House, who, by the way, nominated Tulsi Gabbard, that we put in the White House, has obliterated about 1,200 years worth of global destruction, okay, within just a couple of days so far, and it's going to escalate as we move forward. But I'd like for all of you to realize that at the end of the day, this is going to free not just the Iranian people, but the whole Middle East. The whole Middle East. The reason that George H.W. Bush and company wanted your troops in Iraq was so that they could attack them from Iran, just like George Bush Sr.'s father, Prescott Bush, wanted you into the theater of World War I. Why? So that we could, and World War II, so that we could put you in front of their Nazi guns and get rid of the American youth. That's what they did in Iraq. That's what they did in Vietnam. That's what they did in World War I and World War II. And that crap is not going to happen any longer because of your great president. MG Show stands proudly with the work we have done here.
Hey, lady, $2 cult donation. Thank you so much. Along with Pastor Chatterley, cult donation, $2. Thank you so much for that. Kimmy Mack, a wee bit of a soundboard cash and perhaps a small Scooby snack for Yeti. Thank you so much.
What about a Scooby snack for Shady?
Rev Rob 777, we'd wait for you. And Yeti is our hero. Thank you so much. United States AQ says LFG. Here's some tariff money. Much love. Thank you so much. You know, it's funny though. You know, just to step back, Shady. You know, how many people have come against this show?
Everybody.
And why? And they've been on our show. Now this guy, you know, and I'm talking about Bigger Truth. Okay, guys, just so you know, Scott Bigger Truth. I've now unfollowed him. He has got an ego the size of Canada. Canada.
Okay.
You know, and a weenus. Never mind. So I'm just tired of people using us, man. I really am.
They all do, and we let them. No, we're not tired of it. We're glad. We're glad that they do this. We're 100% glad. You know, and I was seeing all this been playing. That he's in the middle of writing an article, by the way, that Bannon and Epstein are Q.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know. So like this is where these people are headed. You know, like you can see where their minds are. I think I don't really care anymore. I just see the nonsense coming up. You know, it's like Tulsi Gabbard is elected. She was appointed by Donald Trump. She was approved by the Congress. She is the ODNI. I protect her the same way I protect Pam Bondi, no matter what your dumb little memes say. And you're not going to trick me into thinking that because you think that you've got like a bigger shovel than the president of the United States, go piss up a rope, kid.
But Shady, I'd like to, Alex Sullivan, our buddy, the authority. Alex, how you doing? He said this, I just read his entire article and all Gabbard did was look into what slid across her desk. It seems like Scott is mad and she didn't take the bait. I said, I didn't really read his article. You know, he goes, it's a quick 7-minute read. She comes out and says she's going to investigate election fraud, doesn't mention Puerto Rico or Venezuela. Flynn associates push evidence in front of her, and she determines no foreign influence and tried to hijack our election. She shot down the bait that was given to her. If you address it on your show, make sure you read it first. I didn't read it. And if you feel like memeing him, he's got memes. But basically, you know, the article is kind of like Tulsi connects to this person who connects to that person who connects to Flynn. It's not evidence or even an argument. Flynn's intelligence network is so vast and complex that it reaches over every corner of the globe with associates by proximity of a 2-person jump. The bank teller at your local bank could connect to Flynn because the logic that he's using is that the bank teller's sister, who has a local school board member, follows Ivan Ranklin on Twitter. That's the kind of logic that he's dealing with.
It is. That's 100% what he's trying to do. And I had a conversation with him where he ran all that stuff by me, and it's like it's insufferable, bro. Yeah. It's like I have no idea. It's like you obviously you want Dilly to retweet you because Dilly is being geared up by Roger Stone to attack Tulsi Gabbard
and to control the Flynn narrative.
And by the way, my comment was to Warlord Dilly, and Scott McMahon came to his to defend Dilly's sacred honor. That I wasn't talking to Scott McMahon. I was talking to Dilly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, he took it all wrong because his ego thinks it's all about him.
I noticed that he's all.
I'm sorry we introduced you to him, guys, but the MG show no longer stands behind that guy just because we kept quiet and we weren't even talking to him.
I didn't say anything about him.
Yeah.
He came at me and tagged
I don't agree with
post.
Tulsi. I don't agree with Tulsi, his assessment of Tulsi Gabbard, and that's okay.
I didn't say anything
and that
about
should have been that. Now he's demanding how much we've made from My Pillow, and I'm sending you all to go attack him. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, guys.
People defend this show because they defend what we've done here for the last 8 years.
And
so whenever
you warned us about him. There she is right there. How you guys
I know.
Doing?
She warns us about a number of us. She warned us about another lady too.
Yeah, she did. Interesting.
But let's just say that iron sharpens iron, and God bless you. Thank you for caring enough to share your real opinions, because people share their real opinions with us a lot, and we greatly appreciate your real opinions. And I understand that I could be critical of Ed Martin up there if I wanted to be critical of Ed Martin, but I'm not being critical of Ed Martin because Ed Martin hasn't really done anything that would make me think that he's doing something that is against the Trump administration. I heard a long time ago that Donald Trump was going to give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt. Whenever the Post came out explaining that people were given the opportunity to do the right thing, to me personally, you guys do whatever you want. To me personally, that meant that whenever people were given an opportunity to do the right thing and they decided to do the right thing, that we were going to judge them upon their merit. So right now, I'm judging people on their merit. I'm judging people that repost and go. Dilly posts and goes on Roger Stone, and the day before yesterday, Roger Stone brings General Flynn on. I go after Dilly for Dilly being a Roger Stone simp on Twitter, and Scott McMahon quotes my post and calls me a cult.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah.
You do use your discernment whether or not Shady's a cult. I'm fine with defending
Pastor
myself.
Shadowley says, if you're not taking flack, you're not over the target. No apologies needed, friends.
Well, yes, sir. Well, we wanted to talk to you about Iran today.
Yeah, and look, I don't care what the guy thinks, okay? And he can have his stuff, whatever. But when you start attacking me, you drew first blood.
I didn't say anything about that guy.
Yep, he drew first blood. Q Phenomenon, also a $1 cult donation. Thank you so much. Wood shavings, make a wood pile, like I always say. Thank you so much. And guys, so we're going to move on because we've got actual Q proofs to talk about today, Shady. Before we get into the press secretary, stay right here on the MG show because we will have Secretary Karoline Leavitt at 1 p.m. We'll bring that in. Magic Woman, thank you so much. 5 subscriptions to the MG show. Appreciate that. So Operation Fury all happened while we were gone. It's crazy, isn't it, Shady? I mean, look at all this stuff that's crazy. But let's take a look at this because this is a pesky Q proof for the good people of Iran. On 2/28/26, President Donald Trump encouraged Iranians to seize control of their government when the U.S. military operations conclude. 8/28. This is supposed to be 2018, I believe. 2018. That was a mistake. Watch Iran. Something incredible is about to happen. The good people of Iran have the power. Fight for your freedom. There's also one, 3002, which is a pick from Iran. We stand together in this fight. Where we go one, we go all. Check it out, guys.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Huh.
Wow. Q proof. Okay. There's 82 or more Iran posts in Q. Okay. But now we're being attacked because we don't agree with Tulsi Gabbard. Do you see how they can't attack our information that we have?
And to understand that in this moment right now is the moment that we're supposed to be showing people that what we're doing in Iran is not the same thing as the forever wars from Afghanistan and Iraq. Do you not understand that this is the exact same moment? That what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be explaining to people that this is not what that was, that we are not currently under the submission. Let me, Jeff, can I run something by you real quick?
Do it.
Okay. So if I am the Bush family and my lineage has been in charge of the oil through the intelligence agencies in the sands of Iran for 120 years, am I going to be supportive of the guy who is sending bombs to screw up my infrastructure that I have been building for the last 125 years? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be upset. Now, if I am the communist regimes that are infiltrated into MAGA and the Democrats that are currently communist and currently support communism and want to implement it, would I be upset if Donald Trump was bombing the communists in Iran?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So now maybe we can start to understand what the hell you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, because what you are seeing.
And let me add to that. And if I'm an influencer going against the attacks in Iran, am I getting paid by Iran? Am I getting paid by China? Am I getting paid by foreign entities?
There you have it.
Because we have a proof on that too, Shady.
We do. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. My position is this. Anyone who is attacking Donald Trump's administration from any angle, I don't care who you are, and I don't care which person you think is okay to attack, is a communist top to bottom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, all of these numbnuts, Tim Pool, Ryan Mata, Ian Carroll, Alex Jones, and Nick Fuentes did a show last night on live where they told you to get out of this mess with Donald Trump, you have to go vote Democrat. That's what they were on the air telling you last night, guys. I'm not making that up.
Wait a second. So
yes,
Alex Jones, who we were told was a Mossad asset, controlling the narrative with Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Okay. On the same team, but not, right? Appearance, is telling us to vote Democrat.
Yes, sir.
You know, didn't Q tell us about Alex Jones and the Mossad Media Network?
Yep. Also, 100% told us about it. Explained it perfectly, as a matter of fact. Explained exactly how they utilize it to gain credibility by doing things like getting themselves put in jail. Steve Bannon and Roger Stone. Steve Bannon and Roger Stone both did that. Get themselves put in. General Flynn. Look at the trouble.
What is the Streisand effect?
They get themselves into trouble, and then, interestingly enough, the person who gets hurt throughout it is the person who's actually trying to do something real for the country. Guys, Donald Trump has just obliterated about 1,200 years of absolute disgusting control over planet Earth in a way that you could never imagine. And I'm the only person, we're the only place you're going to find this information. Everybody else is telling you all this crazy nonsense. This is not a forever war. This is going to be power to the people, not just of Iran, Jeff. This is what he's done. We've made deals with every country surrounding them. We have them surrounded. We're going to support the people. Trade is going to normalize between Iran and Iraq and Qatar and all these other countries because they've already realized that it's a tic-tac-toe scenario. If you remember the movie War Games, it's a tic-tac-toe scenario. You play the game, tic-tac-toe. What is the sum gain, the end sum gain of that? Nothing, zero. Mutual assured destruction gets us nowhere. You have to come to that conclusion. The world is currently coming to that conclusion. Right. The Arab world is not going to, the Arab world doesn't control you. The global intelligence agencies control you by using the Arabs as a proxy by which to attack you with. The Muslim people don't hate you. The Iranian people don't hate you. None of those people hate you. The governments are trained by the intelligence agencies to tell people to project hate toward you to make you fear so you will fund them.
That's right. And so Israel, Bibi, they own Trump, right? That whole narrative.
Yeah!
The reality, what Shady was talking about, is Trump built a 20-point Gaza plan, okay? Stood up a board of peace that was chaired by Trump, President Trump. He shifted Gaza into like international regional administrations with the U.S. at the helm, plus Gulf funding. Direct Israeli security control, gone. Do you understand? Israel is not in control of the Board of Peace. That is not owned, okay? Direct Israel security control for Gaza is gone. That's Trump owning the outcome. Stop the damn grift, everybody. Educate yourselves.
It's so simple. Like, isn't it interesting the way how complicated everybody's trying to make it? This is the reason. Can I remind everybody that the war, World War II, was generated by ginned up hatred for a whole faith, for a whole community of people. The community of people, the Jewish people, were targeted not for any reason other than they needed a target. Okay, you have to have the operation is the division. So to divide, you have to pick one side or the other. Which side is the easiest to target so that we can generate what it is that we want, which is global control. We want to make an optic to where the people hand us all the power to all of their sovereign nations so that we can, from the UN, run the world from the Vatican. Okay, that's their big goofy plan. You can like it or not. That's what they're doing. It doesn't matter what you believe. And we can sit here and talk about what's really going on, or
hey, let me play this real
minutia.
Let me play this too real quick because President Trump clarifies. Check it out.
Mr. President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready. And we've had a very, very powerful impact.
And, you know, we've been preparing this for a long time because we've been putting munitions all around the world and they bought it. So the munitions that were sent to Israel are probably being used in our effort today, Shady.
Has anyone else out there that is listening to us right now, have any of you seen any other broadcast tell you that Donald Trump is puppeting Bibi? Has anyone but us said that? I'm trying to see. I've not seen a single other platform that correctly orients people to what's actually going on. Everybody else says that Israel puppets America. Everybody else says that we are kowtowing to everything that Israel wants. This is a narrative, guys. This narrative has been seeded. If you were on the boards like we were 7-8 years ago, you would see all of this exact same stuff you're currently seeing on Twitter in front of you 24/7.
Oh my God, it was.
So right now, the operators that were on the boards, that Q came and took a big crap right in the middle of their little operation, shoved them all out here on Twitter, and now they're out here, and it's just interesting that they kind of all agree with the Nazis.
It is.
Am I wrong?
I want you to find that poll, Shady Groove, that you read this morning, because it really. And by the way, while you're finding that poll, let me just do this, Shady. This video right here,
President Trump has done something.
It's called "Heard Around the World." This is the shot heard around the world, guys.
That regardless of partisan and politics of that kind, as a matter of national security risk, recognize what President Trump has done.
That this is the very moment they've been waiting for 47 years. We're shown photos of the people that were allegedly killed by the regime. There were people here holding those photos and saying that this day is for them. President Trump being thanked by name here in this crowd. But some people are even Democratic voters who are praising the president.
Trump is not just saving America. President Trump is saving the world.
The people of Iran are so grateful that President Trump is finally the one who helped us out. After the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas, the Bidens, nobody even cared for the Iranian people as much as President Trump.
That was put out by the White House. The video is entitled "Heard Around the World. Thank you, President Trump." That is huge, guys, because, Shady, did you get that poll that we were talking about?
Yep, I do.
Let's read the results.
And I want everyone to understand something really quick before I read this to you. About 10 to 12% of human beings in America are on the app Twitter, X. Only about 10 or 12% of us. So I want you to understand that what you're seeing inside of X right now by all of these people, it's every single one of them. All of it connects to what's currently being shoved down your throat. CBS poll, 85% of Republicans are supportive of President Trump's strikes on Iran.
CBS poll, 85% of Republicans support. Okay.
85. Now, let me make sure you understand this. This is 85% of the Republicans polled by CBS, and every single one of them knows what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. Recognize that. These people aren't stupid because they're not on Twitter. They saw the BS from George W. Bush, too. Fox News poll, 84% of Republicans support for these strikes on Iran. Very pointed poll there. Washington Post poll, The Post, 81, they are even reporting this. 81% of Republicans support the strikes on Iran. Reuters poll, 82% of Republicans support strikes on Iran. Liberal mainstream media and X, Twitter, MAGA, split on Iran. Now, you tell me, are the Democrats and the fake MAGA communists and attacking Donald Trump, or are they just stupid?
Yes.
Thank you.
Both can be true, right? I mean,
yes, sir. You picked correctly.
Yeah. You have a Red Castle, Rush. Maybe refresh the chat. You're good. And there's everybody there. But, this is what we're trying to show you. And the deep dream on X gets your mind all funky. And I'm talking Instagram, everything else. We need to understand and go with the facts and the facts only. And that, if you go with the truth and the facts, Shady, we have nothing to worry about. And that's, I think, what we've done this whole time. Patriots for Truth, 17. Thank you, 5 subscriptions. Because a lot of people are all worried about Pizzagate right now, Shady. They're all worried about Bill Clinton's blue dress. Okay. So you're worried about Bill Clinton's blue dress, and you want to, get him for contempt of court. Or do you want to get them for selling out America to China? I mean, do you understand that, the level of people's intelligence is so low and so ridiculous now that they can't understand that Bill Clinton was going to get impeached for Chinagate? Instead, they brought out the red dress, Shady, or the blue dress. Let's watch.
Submitted to the record, we have a painting that seems to be of you, Mr. President, found in one of Jeffrey Epstein's residences, wearing a, I would categorize it as a famous blue dress worn by the White House intern, Monica Lewinsky. And I have this image here. This image is being passed around. So, Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that is looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
he doesn't need to describe the painting. You just gave him a picture. What's your question?
My question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Do you know why someone would paint this?
Are you asking
Objection. That's calls for speculation. You can ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day.
In 1998, America's attention was focused on scandal in the Oval Office. Public concern over this new round of suspected Clinton wrongdoings finally pushed Congress to act.
President Clinton.
However, news coverage implied that purely mean-spirited partisanship motivated the proceedings.
The great story here is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Suddenly, for the first time since Richard Nixon, a United States president faced the strong possibility of impeachment. Yet only a handful of viewers would learn the actual reasons why. Months before the Lewinsky scandal broke, Congress began investigating a scandal that had become known as Chinagate. Evidence suggested that the Clinton administration had compromised U.S. security in order to finance its re-election campaign. The Communist government of China was eager to acquire sensitive U.S. military technology and economic concessions.
So they can
and that's treason, guys.
China
yes, they could use it in Iran.
Contributions into U.S. election campaigns and obtained
Iran benefited from
access
that.
to top U.S. officials.
Yeah. Iran did benefit from that. Yep. And we're worried about his blue dress. You have no idea. People have no clue that the blue dress was a psychological operation ran on you. And so was Pizzagate.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up. We didn't talk about this earlier because there's so much going on. You know what I was thinking? I was watching this, like, number one, the interviews that they did with Clinton, the two Clintons, was like watching fingernails on a chalkboard. It was just unbelievable, the things that, but whatever, regardless of that. If I were in there and I had the opportunity to talk to Bill Clinton, I would have been talking to him about China. But
I'd have been talking about Uranium One, China, the deal with Loretta Lynch.
Exactly. Why? Because we know about those things. The Congress sitting there in those seats, they don't know anything about any of that. And they're like drilling down on this absolute nonsense about, you know, like the questioning. And I like Anna Paulina Luna, but I have to tell you, she went down a few notches after listening to her.
And so did Nancy Mace.
Both of them just almost insufferable perspectives about what is important to the American people, and really kind of showing that they don't have any knowledge about anything that's actually a problem.
So you guys are realizing that the blue dress with the white stain on it was a psyop on you. And that's why Bill Clinton laughed at the picture, because he knows that you Americans fell for bullshit.
And he literally is getting away with it in a hearing while he's under oath, because nobody knows about it still. Everybody talks about all this nonsense.
Yeah. You don't want to talk about Uranium One. You don't want to talk about the Clinton Foundation. You don't want to talk about their Saudi Arabia ties. You don't want to talk about their, setting up the trafficking hotline. You guys are stupid. You guys are, and Q has nothing to do with Pizzagate. Not a damn thing. That meme that has FBI with pizza equals this and hot dog equals that. Fake. That's a fake meme.
All fake.
It's
all
fake.
I'm speculating that was made up by Hillary at this point.
Well, it was Flynn who started it in his network. And Michael Flynn Jr., many people don't know this, he was fired from the Trump administration for pushing Pizzagate.
Yep. And then he doubled down on it. And now they're all doubled down.
Now they got Liz Crokin as their...
Yep. She's been on Alex Jones. She's been on the Ben Swan guys coming back around with the whole thing. Like they engineered. If you go read,
we got Karoline.
Okay. Oh wow, is she early? Are we late? Oh yeah, it's 10:20. Forgot.
Under the leadership of President Donald
How's the sound, Yeti?
The rogue Iranian terrorist regime is being absolutely crushed. 47 years of tolerating and enabling the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism are over. Iran's murderous terrorist leaders are paying for their crimes against America, and they are paying in blood. Since 1979, the terrorist Iranian regime has actively and intentionally facilitated the killings of Americans. They chant death to America and fund other radical terrorists who attack our country and are seeking to destroy Western civilization itself. These terrorists seized our embassy and took 66 Americans hostage in Tehran. They slaughtered 241 U.S. service members with a truck bombing in Beirut. They killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. And this is just a small fraction of their blood-soaked record. Prior leaders have been too weak and ineffective to address this threat. Some, like Barack Hussein Obama, even sent pallets of cash that ultimately financed this terrorist crusade against the United States and our people, while signing stupid and naive deals that put Iran on the path of developing nuclear bombs. After years of endless appeasement and empty statements from politicians on both sides of the political aisle in this town, President Trump is finally the man of action. President Trump is holding these monsters accountable and permanently extinguishing their nuclear ambitions. Future generations of Americans will look to this moment as the moment where the specter of a nuclear armed Iran ended. At the beginning of Operation Epic Fury, launched last weekend, President Trump laid out clear objectives to the American people on what the U.S. military seeks to accomplish through these major combat operations. Number one, destroy the regime's deadly ballistic missiles and completely raze their missile industry to the ground. Number two, annihilate the Iranian regime's navy. And so far, we have destroyed more than 20 Iranian ships, including their top submarine last night, using a torpedo for the first time since World War II. There is not a single Iranian ship
Can I get a boom?
The Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or the Gulf of Oman. Number three, Operation Epic Fury will ensure the regime's terrorist proxies in the region can no longer destabilize the region or the free world and attack our armed forces. And thus far, Iran's proxies are hardly putting up a fight. Number four, this mission will guarantee that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. It's safe to say that thus far, Operation Epic Fury has been a resounding success. American forces have struck more than 2,000 targets, destroying hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. As the Department of War said this morning, we expect to have complete and total dominance over Iranian airspace in the coming hours, clearing the skies for our brave warriors to continue achieving these noble and long sought-after objectives. There's been a lot of misreporting and intellectual dishonesty from the American media on why President Trump decided to launch this operation. So let me remind you, Operation Midnight Hammer, which took place last June, obliterated Iran's 3 major nuclear sites. Yet the terrorist Iranian regime has remained fully committed to rebuilding its nuclear program. How do we know this? Because Iran has pursued this path of war and violence despite President Trump dispatching 2 of his top and most trusted negotiators to engage in exhaustive and good faith negotiations to try and reach a deal. And the world knows this president's preference is always peace and diplomacy first. Look no further than the 8 additional global conflicts he has ended in the past year as proof. Unfortunately, the terrorist Iranian regime refused to negotiate in good faith. They chose this path of violence and destruction, and they are reaping the consequences of their horrible decision. The regime did what they always have done. They lied, they delayed, they tried to string the United States of America along. They wanted to buy themselves time to continue building ballistic missiles and other deadly weaponry that could harm our U.S. personnel and troops in the region, and to continue aggressively...
and people don't realize that those American troops and people in the region are Americans. You get that? Mm-hmm. Our troops are Americans.
They are. That's all. Thank you for saying that.
Wow.
Pursuing their unacceptable nuclear ambitions. U.S. negotiators offered to lift crippling sanctions on Iran and even provide nuclear fuel to Iran at no cost to support a civil nuclear power program. They additionally had the opportunity to accept U.S. support as an investor in potential projects to develop peaceful nuclear energy together under a mutually agreed upon framework. Yet in response, Iran would have to forfeit their enrichment capacity once and for all. But Iran rejected. They accepted none of these generous and unprecedented offers by the United States. Simply put, they refused to say yes to peace. And their refusal made clear that their number one priority was building a nuclear weapon with which to threaten the United States of America. Again, the country they have been chanting death to for nearly 5 decades. Let me state this again clearly. Iran rejected the path of peace because the terrorists in charge of this regime wanted to build nuclear weapons to use against Americans and our allies. President Trump made the determination, a courageous determination and decision, that the path the United States was on with Iran had only one outcome: massive death and destruction at the hands of a nuclear-armed terroristic regime. That path of death and destruction and threats against the American people have ended with Operation Epic Fury. Operation Epic Fury has forged a new path that will better ensure the security of the United States and our people. The terrorists made a bet that President Trump would be like many of his predecessors, that he would just talk and he would refuse to enforce his clear red lines. But that has proven to be a catastrophic error in judgment. When President Trump makes a threat, and I have reiterated that threat many times from this podium to all of you over the past year, President Trump does not bluff. The president's words are backed up by the mightiest warriors in the world who possess the most sophisticated capabilities this world has ever known. 49 and counting of the most senior Iranian regime leaders, including the supreme leader, have already been wiped off the face of the earth. Make no mistake, killing these brutal terrorists is good for America and makes the world a much safer place. I want to also extend our prayers and condolences to the families of the 6 U.S. military service members who have been lost in Operation Epic Fury. These heroes represent the very best among us. They laid down their lives in defense of our country, and we will never forget their legacy or their sacrifice. As the president said, we grieve for these American patriots and their families as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. President Trump intends to attend the dignified transfer of these American heroes to stand in grief alongside their families. I understand the Department of War is working on scheduling this transfer, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. Finally, the Trump administration is also doing everything within our power to protect Americans in harm's way. Since the launch of Operation Epic Fury, more than 17,500 Americans have safely returned home from the Middle East.
That's up from 9,000 just 2 days ago.
American citizens returning home to the United States just yesterday alone. If you are a U.S. citizen in the Middle East looking to return to the United States, the Secretary of State asks that you please register with the State Department at step.state.gov. The State Department will identify where you are and provide travel options directly to you. The administration is already rapidly chartering flights free of charge and booking commercial options, which we expect to become increasingly available as time goes on and the success of this mission further comes to fruition. I know the President and Secretary of State Rubio have been in touch as well with our allies in the region directly about this problem, making it clear that it is a priority of the United States of America to bring every American home. The Trump administration will not rest until every American is home safely and until the terrorist threat from Iran has been completely destroyed. With that, I'll take your questions. Eric, why don't you kick us off today? Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. As you mentioned, Iran's regime, its leadership has largely been decimated. Do we have a sense right now of who is actually calling the shots in Iran? And we're also hearing reports that the Supreme Leader's son may be named his successor. Do you have any more information about that? I just had a quick follow-up as well.
Sure. We've seen those reports as well, of course, and this is something that our intelligence agencies are closely monitoring and looking at. The truth is, we'll have to wait and see. The president has said repeatedly that the objectives of Operation Epic Fury are the 4 military objectives that I laid out for you previously, to destroy Iran's navy, to destroy their ballistic missile capacity, to ensure their proxies in the region can no longer harm Americans, and to also ensure that they can never obtain a nuclear weapon. As for what comes next for Iran, the president has said, of course, it's a good thing for the United States to want freedom for the Iranian people, and ultimately we hope that freedom rests in their hands.
Muslim nations coming under fire as well. President Trump's vision for the region has been to bring the Arab and Muslim nations to the table together, Abraham Accords, obviously, with Israel. If this regime topples, could we see a new day in the region and really a new Middle East come out of this when the dust settles?
Well, though the greatest deterrent to true and long-lasting peace in the Middle East has always been the rogue Iranian terrorist regime. And our Arab and Gulf partners in the nation admit that, as well as, of course, our close friend and ally Israel. We have seen all of the Arab partners in the region come together during this time on the phone with President Trump, many of them commending him for this bold and brave action to protect American troops and our bases in the region that are housed in many of these Arab and Gulf states. And I know that many of these regional partners are contributing their air defense capabilities as well. Jordan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and the president continues to be engaged with all of them. Welcome. Garrett.
Hey, Jeff, I want to jump in.
Axios, I think was
if you're here. Okay, great. I'm just going to jump in now so we don't have to backtrack with some of the questions that are being asked. I want to report to you something that's very important for you to understand. So the narrative was that Iran could destroy all of its neighbors. It could destroy Israel. It could destroy Turkey. It could destroy Egypt. all these different countries there, those scared super boogeyman, big Iran, going to destroy everybody. Everybody do what Iran says. Don't challenge their navy or they'll destroy us. Don't challenge their drones or they'll destroy us. I want you to recognize what has been going on so that you understand the what's happening. So that was the threat. The threat was, okay, you come at us and we're going to blow you to smithereens. Threat from Iran. Now, what's happened? What happened was within the last 3 or 4 days, we have been striking specific targets within Iran. Every time they launch anything, we blow it up. As soon as they launch it, doesn't matter where they launch it from, anywhere that they launch anything from, the launcher will get blown up, and they know the launcher is going to get blown up as soon as they launch something. Therefore, what's actually been happening, what we were told was going to happen by all of the people that know everything, is that we were going to bomb Iran, and then Iran was going to obliterate everybody around them because we bombed Iran. Well, guess what? Day one compared to day two, after the initial strikes, 50% reduction in day two of the amount of missiles launched from Iran. Day three, from day one, 75% reduction in the amount of missiles launched from Iran. 2 days down 75% of capacity that was initially said could be these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of missiles that come from everywhere and they do everything. It's going to be raining hell and it's going to be the apocalypse on the Middle East. Apparently wasn't the case. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just saw Squirrelin on, or who was it? Dragon says, lawyered up Obama. That's fake news. Sorry about that.
Yep,
we love our psyops, don't we, though?
Yeah, that's not a real story, guys. Dig deeper.
Dig deeper. I did. Oh, actually, Poussant did. Thank you, Poussant, for, she's like, yeah, we got a Q proof because she saw somebody's post. And then we dug, and you can't prove it. All right, back to Karoline Leavitt.
First report this morning, this phone call between the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Netanyahu had given the U.S. this information about where the Ayatollah would be and that he'd be with his deputies on Saturday. How important was that information in the president making the decision to strike where and when he did?
I think it was important with respect to the timeline. But I think the president, prior to that phone call, had a good feeling that the Iranian regime was going to strike the United States assets and our personnel in the region. And the president was faced with a choice. Does the United States of America use our military and our capabilities to strike first, to take out this threat that has been threatening our country and our people for 47 years? Or is he going to, as commander-in-chief, sit back and watch as the rogue Iranian regime attacks our people in the region? That's obviously an unacceptable decision. For the second choice there is unacceptable to the president, which is why he made this decision. As for where the Ayatollah was going to be, that obviously had an impact on the timeline of the operation, but not quite the president's decision in its entirety.
And then on the way the public is viewing this, we were sitting here last week. I asked you if the president was going to make this a big part of the State of the Union, if he felt like he had to sell the possibility that he'd do strikes like this. We're now 5 days on. He hasn't done kind of the traditional speech to the nation part of it. Does the president believe the country supports the actions that he's taken so far in Iran?
I think he does, and I think the president knows the country is smart enough to read past many of the fake news headlines produced by people in this room that this action was unjustifiable. Again, this is a rogue terrorist regime that has been threatening the United States, our allies, and our people for 47 years. And the American people are smart enough to know that. And they've also been smart enough to listen to the president himself, not just over the past year in this second term, but during his first term as president, and also for the past 40 years of his life. This is a president who has been remarkably consistent on this issue, that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. And the president tried peace through diplomacy, exhaustively and extensively. He and his team gave it their best go, and the president ultimately came to the determination of that peace was not a pursuable path. The Iranian regime, they want death, they want destruction, they want to kill Americans, and that's unacceptable to this president. It's intolerable to him as commander-in-chief. Jackie.
Caroline. Obviously seen the update from the State Department on the 17,500 Americans that have already come back, including some 8,000 just yesterday. There are still 6,000 that are looking to get out, as I understand it. And just in the context of what you just told Garrett about the president's decision on a timeline, if he had decided to do this strike before receiving, the specific intelligence about the meeting on Saturday, should there have been more done in advance of the strikes to try to get those Americans in the region.
It's never good enough, is it?
And information to get
Yeah,
home.
we're going to go tell everybody that we're going to bomb them.
There was many signs
Great idea.
put out by the State Department, and I wish that everyone in this room would report on them. The Secretary of State issued level 4 travel advisories dating back to January for many of these countries in the region. On January 14th, the U.S. mission to Saudi Arabia advised personnel and Americans to exercise increased caution and limit non-essential travel to any military installations. On February 11th, the U.S. Department of State Consular Affairs shared a list of countries with level 4 do not travel advisories. You can't be much more clear than that. Do not travel to these following countries. On February 23rd, the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon ordered non-emergency government personnel and family members to leave Lebanon due to safety risks, and we helped them do that. On March 2nd, the State Department urged U.S. citizens to depart Lebanon immediately. With respect to Iran, on February 27th, the Secretary designated Iran as a state of sponsor of wrongful detention and stated no American should travel to Iran for any reason. And again, on February 27th, the U.S. ambassador to Israel warned Americans to leave Iran, and they provided travel advisory alerts through the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. So the State Department was all hands on deck on advising extreme caution and do not travel alerts to Americans in the region. With respect to the Americans who are still in the region now, again, the State Department is asking that they register at the website so they can directly identify you. And we are actively and rapidly working to charter flights. There is some commercial flights that are taking off intermittently from these countries, and we plan to get Americans on board as quickly as possible, again, free of charge to them. And we have some additional measures that I think will be announced in the coming days. Again, I can also reiterate from the president's perspective, this is something he's brought up directly with our allies and partners in the region, that we expect their help in getting Americans home, and we will do that, and we will not rest until every single American is returned home safely.
And then one follow-up just on how people might be experiencing this at home. With respect to the economy and the cost of oil spiking, is there a need to start those Navy escorts in the Strait of Hormuz now to sort of blunt the impact to people? And also, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them?
With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought-after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. With respect to oil prices and the economy here at home, of course, this is something that Secretary Bessent, Secretary Wright, the National Economic Council of Energy, that is led by Secretary Burgum, has been long working on and well in advance. Yesterday, President Trump announced the U.S. Development Finance Corporation will provide political risk insurance at a very reasonable price for crude carriers and cargo ships operating in and around the Gulf. And as you pointed out, Jackie, the president said if necessary and when appropriate, the U.S. Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. I think it speaks to why this action was so necessary, that ultimately the energy industry is going to benefit from the president's actions with respect to Iran, because Iran will no longer be controlling the Strait of Hormuz and restricting the free flow of energy, which, as you all know, controls 20% of the world's global oil supply.
Thanks, Caroline. The president said yesterday there wasn't time to make evacuation plans because this all happened so quickly. Given how critical the president has been of the chaotic evacuation from Afghanistan by the last administration 5 years ago, why wasn't there more of a focus on evacuation plans from the Middle East that could have been at least put in place, ready to go before the strikes this week?
What are you talking about?
That there have been plans in place, and that the State Department
She's told you the plan.
Clear to the American people traveling within this region, not to travel to these regions. We gave.
Oh my God, Shady! I just got to see if this works.
It does work. I'm going to have one of those soon.
I know.
We have identified the number of people in the region who have requested help We are in direct contact and engagement with them. And you have to keep in mind, there's a few thousand people who have requested assistance to come home in comparison to the millions who we understand are in the region. So we will help every single American who wants to come home if they're making that request of the State Department.
Americans who called the State Department hotline as recently as last night were being told, we can't help you, you have to make your own plans.
Well, the line was updated, and I expect every single person in this room to report on that accurately, so that information can be relayed appropriately to your audiences and to the American people. I think as journalists, you all have a responsibility to let them know that the line has been updated accordingly with the proper guidance, because I saw many people in this room very quick to do selfie videos with the line yesterday, but not so quick to report on the corrected message today. So that is something the administration quickly worked to address, and we have fixed that problem. However, we're also pointing to people to the website, again, to register so that we know exactly where you are. So when there are commercial flights moving into that area, when there are chartered flights moving into that area, we can get Americans on planes as quickly as possible.
Do you have any details on how many charter flights have been able to get out of the region so far with Americans on board?
Real quick, Philly Bud Mama, thank you. So glad you're back. $20 Rumble Rant Trust at 5 subscriptions. Thank you, guys. God bless you.
Wait, let me.
Go
I gotta jump in here.
So
can we distract more from the point? Got to distract from the point. She just explained to you that the Iranian Navy will no longer be molesting oil tankers in the Straits of Hormuz. Okay, that is going into the Suez Canal, one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. Probably. I mean, some people could argue it's the number one shipping lane over the Panama Canal. Okay, so this is huge. This is the whole egress and output from that canal goes by the Strait of Hormuz, and they have controlled that for decades. And now she's saying, guess what? The Navy is at the bottom of the ocean, or it's at the bottom of the river there, whatever you want to call it, the strait. All of it sank. They can't do anything anymore. And so no longer will the OPEC people control the price of oil on the world stage. And it's going to be American supply that they're going to go to. And China no longer has a resource for oil, and neither does Russia have that resource there in Iran for oil. But let's not talk about that, Jeff. Let's not talk about how we're strangling the communists. Let's talk about how we can't get a phone number to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true what you're saying. I mean, people don't realize that the equipment that was used by Iran was Chinese and Russian.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was.
We are taking a big swipe at Russia and a huge swipe at China. And because they were getting oil, they were getting all this technology, and their technology sucked because we have the discombobulator, Shady.
We do. And you know what else? That video that you showed me of the CENTCOM guy, you know what he told me in there? He showed me like this whole rack of drones that were that were pilotless drones. And he told me that these are Iranian designed. And we took these Iranian designed kamikaze drones and we made them better. And they got like a whole ship ton of them sitting out there that are flying in there and like bombing every single time that they send off a missile.
So this is literally cutting the strings, guys. I mean, we're witnessing history, and this president will go down as one of the best in history.
And this show could have told you 2 months ago, if I saw the Patel Patriot, Jeff, John Harold, he went on the air. He made this huge post about how there's no way, I could tell you right now, there's no way that Donald Trump's ever going to attack Iran. It's not going to happen. He's a peace president. He would never do it. Literally the day before he bombed Iran. See, if you would have asked me what was going to happen in Iran, I would say that the mullahs have a dirt nap coming, is what I would have told you, because we're going to bomb the crap out of them and free the Iranian people and free the rest of the world from this boot on the
Scourge.
neck of humanity. Yeah, scourge on the neck of humanity. Whatever.
What other people don't realize is there will be no boots on the ground because you can't have boots on the ground geographically. It's a big, people don't understand the geographics of things. However, he will arm other resistance fighters. That's what's happening, and that's what already was happening. It's already been in place. The CIA's already trained them. This is a well-defined plan. Your Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Rubio, and the team and the general, the people's general, Shady Raisin Cane, are doing a fantastic job. I have not seen, this is not going to be an endless war. This is going to end the endless wars. There's a big difference, Shady.
There was a drop towards the end. It might have been the very last drop. It was close to it that said, end the endless. What is endless is the endless ability for the globalists to pretend there's a reason to bomb other countries.
Who really owns Iran?
That's right. What's North Korea being used for? What are they? What good are they? What good, Jeff, would Iran be if they were just a nice country that got along with everybody?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be any good for the country. They've got all this oil, sir. How would we control that oil if it actually benefited the Iranian people?
That's right.
Wait a minute.
Imagine that.
Isn't that interesting?
Red Hair, we were about a half an hour late, so sorry about that as well. Welcome to the show. Patriots, 17 Patriots for Truth says no boots on the ground needed. No, because we've got all the airplanes and all the technology, guys. Continuing on with the...
They said that, by the way, I just wanted to reiterate what you said to clarify. All of the air traffic monitoring is obliterated.
We will own the skies today.
All the equipment that China has been putting in Iran and Russia have been putting in Iran in coordination to stop airplanes from flying, it's all gone within just a couple of days. Like, it's all gone. So how do you think President Xi and Vladimir Putin sleep at night now? You know, Jeff, I read the thing. They've been tracking the Ayatollah for years through all different kinds of mechanisms in Iran. They had
bodyguards and the phones, and they figured it out.
Even like traffic light signal cameras were hacked or something. They were tracking this guy's every move. They knew exactly where he was, and he was actually above ground. And they had real world intelligence that said that he was literally sitting right here, right now. And guess what happened, Jeff? A cruise missile. That's what happened.
And then they were voting for the mullah a second time. For the Ayatollah. Boom. And then a third time, I think we got a boom, right?
And Trump was on the air last night saying, well, we were going to negotiate with them. And then we were going to, so we're working on figuring out who might show up to negotiate with.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, here we go back.
I don't have an exact count for you, but I know that we're working on chartering many flights. As soon as we were doing it yesterday, we're doing it again today. And you should not expect us to detail exactly when these flights are taking off for obvious reasons. The Iranians have shown that they are not going to hesitate to target civilians in the region, which is completely intolerable. But for safety and security reasons, we're not going to be broadcasting when flights full of Americans are going to be taking off, obviously. Danny.
At the top there, you said that the Iranian regime is being absolutely crushed. Can you explicitly say then whether or not regime change is a goal of President Trump's operation?
The goals of this operation.
No, we want to dig up the Ayatollah and put him back in again. I mean, what are these people thinking, Shady? What a stupid ass question. Yes, the people of Iran need to step up and take their government back. Q posted about that in 2018, 2019, and 2020.
Why are they trying to break our brains?
Jeez.
They really are trying to split you in two.
So, are you saying that regime change is...
Fine! Let him go! You put that guy back in there with the little plastic toys.
Jeez.
Have been made very clear, Danny, and the president has said them in his speech when he launched this operation and released that video in the middle of the night to all of you and to the world. The stated military objectives of Operation Epic Fury are as follows. Eliminate Iran's ballistic missile threat, destroy their naval capability, disrupt missile and drone production infrastructure, sever their pathway, and end their pathway to nuclear weapons. And I can report, as you all saw from the Pentagon today, that thus far this operation has been remarkably successful. Again, we're moving towards complete and total control of Iranian airspace. We have continuous 24/7 strike operations ongoing. We've had more than 2,000 targets that have been struck. Nearly 2,000 munitions have been employed. The first 24 hours of this campaign were described nearly as twice the scale of the 2003 shock and awe campaign. And we've seen that the enemy, the Iranian rogue regime, their retaliatory strikes against the United States, and the threat reduction has reduced significantly. If you look at the Iranian ballistic missile launches, they're down 86% from day one levels. So while the United States military continues to increase
10 more percent today
dominance over this rogue regime, they are weakening day by day.
Regime change is not a phrase that you would want to use.
Again, Operation Epic Fury, I just detailed the goals and objectives of this very quickly. But obviously, as the president has said numerous times, do we want to see Iran being led by a rogue terrorist regime? No, of course not. So any day the United States of America is taking out a terrorist is a good day for our country and a good day for our people.
Given that point that you just make about the United States.
By the way, I want to just make a point here, Shady, because they use the term shock and awe, Shady.
I know.
So the word shock and awe is Shekinah, which is a visible manifestation of God's presence amidst his people. In the Old Testament, this manifestation was usually a natural occurrence. For example, God revealed the Shekinah glory through a pillar of cloud and fire. Isn't that interesting, Shady?
That is very interesting.
And Saddam Hussein, back in the day, thought he was Nebuchadnezzar. And then they released shock and awe. This was biblical. Because Shady was pointing out, Iran is part of Persia, guys. It's part of Babylon, okay? Very interesting that they use that terminology, Shady.
It is very interesting, and it's also part of the connection that lords over you today. Because a lot of people don't realize this whole thing. We're talking about this thing, secret societies. You're talking about all these different connections to Knights Templar and the creation of America. But when you go all the way back to around 1055 AD, what you find is the funding of this whole operation that is what they were considering like anti-Catholic operations back then. The Knights Templar were all funded out of Persia. So these people have been funding the secret society. So that connects to Skull and Bones, secret societies, Skull and Bones, George W. Bush, control of Iranian oil, split the world, American oil versus Iranian oil, split the world, split the spoils.
Yeah. And how do you, let's see, pronunciation. Let's see if we pronounce it. Let's just see if it does sound a lot like that. Let me just see. Show more. They don't have an actual. Here it is. Let's see.
We are looking at how to pronounce this name, as well as how to say more interesting and related biblical names as well. So make sure to stay tuned and consider subscribing. Although some might say it also as Shekinah, which is closer as Shekinah. Although some might say it also as Shekinah, which is closer to the Hebrew pronunciation. Shekinah or Shekinah.
Shekinah. All right, back to Karoline.
Thank you.
Mind seeing
that was
very good.
Oh,
you didn't flip it.
Talked about
flip it good.
Overthrow of the government. Is the president considered at all kind of how he views a U.S. role, if any, in Iran post-conflict?
I think it's something the president is actively considering and discussing with his advisors and his national security team. But again, right now, the focus, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, is on ensuring the quick and effective success of Operation Epic Fury. Sure. Go ahead.
I want to ask you about the U.S. munitions stockpile.
I don't even know who's speaking because I wasn't looking at you. You can ask a question and then I'll go to you.
I want to ask you about the U.S. munitions stockpile. President Trump posted on Truth Social on Monday that the U.S. still has a good supply of weapons, but that we're not where we need to be. What does he mean by that? And does President Trump
I don't know.
want
What
to
does
ask
that mean?
Congress to
He's build more bullets.
Increase funding for missile interceptor systems like the ones being used to defend U.S. bases in the Middle East from Iranian missiles.
I don't have any updates for you on congressional asks from the president. As you know, under this president, we have significantly increased our defense budget, which is a good thing for the United States, for our national security, and for protecting our homeland. With respect to munitions, ammunition, weapon stockpiles, the United States of America has more than enough capability to not only successfully execute Operation Epic Fury, but to go much further. And we have weapon stockpiles in places that many people in this world don't even know about. However, the president in that post was pointing out that, unfortunately, we had a very stupid and incompetent leader in this White House for 4 years who gave away many of our best weapons for nothing, for free, to another country very far away by the name of Ukraine. So the president was pointing out how that was an unwise decision, but nevertheless, don't doubt the strength and the might of the American military. And I will also add, President Trump has rightfully been calling on defense contractors in this country to rapidly and aggressively produce American-made weapons because they are the best in the world. And the president always likes to get things done as quickly as possible. And so he's been quite vocal in his efforts to try to speed up our defense industry to protect our homeland.
Karoline, can you move some?
Go ahead.
Karoline, could you tell us about the president's current thinking about ground troops and whether they could be used if they were to be sent into Iran? What would they be used for? What's the situation of that?
Well, they're not part of the plan for this operation at this time, but I certainly will never take away military options on behalf of the President of the United States or the Commander-in-Chief, and he wisely does not do the same for himself. I know there's many leaders in the past who like to take options off of the table without having a full understanding of how things could develop. So again, it's not part of the current plan, but I'm not going to remove an option
Great answer.
for the president that is on the table. Sean.
Did the United States airstrike at girls' elementary school and kill 175 people?
Not that we know of, Sean, and the Department of War is investigating this matter, and I would just tell you very strongly, the United States of America does not target civilians, unlike the rogue Iranian regime that targets civilians, that kills children, that has killed thousands of their own people in the past several weeks, and uses propaganda quite effectively, and unfortunately, many people in this room have fallen for that propaganda. So I would caution you from pointing the finger at the United States of America when it comes to targeting civilians, because that's not something that these armed forces do. Reagan.
Let me get in here. Okay, so a couple things right there. Yes, fake news. That is fake news. What they're talking about with the Iranian school, that was an Iranian-launched missile that whatever didn't work. It fell out of the sky and hit the school. So that was not us bombing a school like they're all running around with. And I'd also like to reiterate something else that I'm very, very unhappy with. Health Ranger Mike Adams. I mean, it's one thing you got Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes out there saying, go over here and vote for Democrats. This guy over the weekend has literally been over and over again publishing Iranian state TV propaganda about how the Iranians have destroyed American ships, how they've destroyed American assets, how they have hit targets in countries that they did not hit. 3 or 4 different things that he's posted directly acting like he's pointing at proof for why what Trump is doing is a bad idea. This is the guy whose network we were on, Brighteon. So I'm just pointing that out so that you guys can see the scope and the depth of the operation against what it is that was their little ace in the hole. Their ace in the hole was Iran being able to be used as a weapon against the world. And Trump specifically said it the other day that they were getting ready to utilize their power to stall us, build up their munitions to the point where no one would be on board with an attack. Yeah. And we upended that plan.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a search on how many people has Iran killed. How many American people has Iran?
They don't
killed?
care about that.
They don't.
No. It's been since 1978. They have had an open war against the American people, and they even do crazy things, Jeff. They send baby boomers out into the streets with signs that say they're pro-Palestinian Hamas.
Yeah. And now the same people that are pro-Palestinian Hamas are now saying, yay for and they're being paid by this, and they say no ICE, but they're being paid, but they're liking the Iranian thing. It's so messed up.
It just so happens that they're all coming out of these universities, Jeff, that have connections to secret societies.
Yep.
Oh, the Harvard and the Yale of the world.
So roughly 20 to 50,000 plus have been killed by Iran since 1979. That's just Americans.
A conservative
number. And that's just Americans.
Right. And so you think to take that to the worldwide, you're probably talking about over 1 million people.
Yeah. So you guys, they just love their commies, don't they?
The commies will defend the commies 100% of the time.
Amazing.
Especially their sacred honor.
Back to Karoline.
Iran conflict, the SAVE Act was really the focus of the news cycle. Is the SAVE Act still a priority for the administration?
Absolutely. No.
Could you just provide
We're
an
tabling
update
it.
on the administration's talks with Congress to get the SAVE Act through?
SAVE Act is absolutely still a priority for this president and the administration. The focus, of course, of much of the president's time right now is on ensuring the success of Operation Epic Fury, but the president can walk and chew gum at the same time, and he's very much continuing to focus on the issues that matter here at home for the American people, including the passage of the SAVE Act, including on bringing down the cost of living, which is why you'll see the president in about an hour and a half at the Ratepayer Protection Pledge Roundtable, where he will be sitting with big tech companies, with AI companies who are building in communities across the country and have pledged to pick up the cost of the electricity tab in these small towns and communities across the country, which is a great thing for American consumers. So you'll be hearing from the president directly on this very important domestic agenda item later this afternoon, and it's something that he mentioned in his State of Union address. So check it off the list as another promise made and kept by this president. Sure, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. I just wanted to get back to Danny's question. So those 4 objectives that you read out do not explicitly include regime change. If those objectives were achieved, the Islamic Republic still existed, would that be an acceptable outcome?
That's a hypothetical question that I'm not going to engage in. Again, right now, the president and the commander-in-chief are focused on executing the success of Operation Epic Fury, which we are already doing so in a very tremendous and impressionable way. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. The Trump administration reportedly is considering arming Kurdish forces in the hopes of inspiring a popular uprising in Iran. Could you comment on that report?
I can comment on the fact that the president has held many calls with partners, allies, and leaders in the region, in the Middle East. He did speak to Kurdish leaders with respect to our base that we have in northern Iraq. But as for any report suggesting that the president has agreed to any such plan is completely false and should not be written.
President Trump was saying yesterday that he is okay with someone from within taking over in Iran. He spoke about how Venezuela he saw as a successful model where Delcy Rodriguez took over and had a better relationship. Iran's President Pezeshkian, he took office in 2024 as a relative reformer. He's part of a 3-man council now replacing the supreme leader. Does President Trump see him as a potential successor who is more pliable?
Again, that's another hypothetical, and I haven't spoken to the president about this specific individual, so I don't want to get ahead of him on any assessments that should be made.
Thank you. Yesterday, the president acknowledged that oil prices will be a bit high. As for gas prices here in the U.S., what is the admin doing right now to counter that? I mean, should they skyrocket? Is there a plan to help, Americans right now with those higher gas prices? And then a second question, on the rash that was on the president's neck, the White House physician said it was a preventative skin cream that he was using, but why is the president using this cream? What are they trying to prevent with this cream?
To your second question, I don't have anything additional to add to the physician statement that we provided to all of you on those questions, but I know that...
I'd also like to point out that Owen Schroyer was giving crap about President Trump had a little rash here. Crap happens, guys. Stop it.
Any little thing.
Wow.
Okay?
Trump has a hangnail on his middle finger.
Yeah, we used to like really find things that we could complain about, but since there's nothing that we can truly complain about because it would mean that we would have to like square up against the president, we go about our business doing this nonsense.
How come they didn't ask Joe Biden fell up the stairs? What the hell are we going to do with this guy?
He literally tripped over a sandbag.
Stupid.
Statement said that the redness on the neck will dissipate within the next couple of weeks. To your first question about oil prices, thank God we have a president who has exuded American energy dominance over the past year, an administration that is wholeheartedly focused on keeping prices stable as best as we can. Of course, this operation is temporary to protect the homeland, but crude oil prices did fall yesterday. They remain stable today after the president announced steps to ensure the stability in global energy markets. Again, those include the DEC offering reasonably priced political risk insurance and the potential for the U.S. Navy to provide protection for the flow of energy through the Strait through the Strait of Hormuz. It is the president's belief and his economic team's belief that the economy continues to be very strong, it's robust, and will be able to weather any of the temporary impacts of Operation Epic Fury. John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. Just to follow up to that, the timeline for making the Strait of Hormuz safe for oil tankers to transport their oil through the strait, what is that timeline, and what can the president do to speed up that timeline?
I don't want to commit to a timeline, but certainly it's something that is being calculated actively by both the Department of War and the Department of Energy. They're working very closely. Both secretaries are in all of the briefings on this subject with the president, and this is, again, something they're monitoring. And if and when necessary, the United States Navy will provide assistance to escort oil tankers through the strait. Sure, in the blue.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're not in blue, Andrew. Go ahead. Yeah. Well, I guess you are, sort of. I'll go to you after.
You had mentioned about the commercial aircraft being used for the evacuations. What about the use of military aircraft? Would that happen in conjunction with that or subsequent to?
That is something that is definitely underway. And of course, we're going to use that in conjunction. We want as many planes, whether they're chartered, commercial, or military, taking Americans out of the Middle East and returning them safely home. So yes. Andrew, go ahead. You're welcome.
At the top of the briefing, you listed a long list of grievances against the Iranian government, going back to the takeover of the embassy in '79, barracks bombing in the '80s, etc. But no one from the administration has laid out the imminent threat that was supposed to be taken care of by this. And the rationales offered by, say, Secretary Rubio, the president's national security advisor, said that the threat was retaliation against American interests from Iran after Israeli strikes. The president says it was his own feeling that Iran was going to attack. Why is it that across the administration you can't say what the imminent threat against the United States was that required us to launch this? And also, Prime Minister Starmer told Parliament today that his reason that he didn't allow the use of British bases was that he was not satisfied that there was a lawful basis and a viable, thought-through plan. Was there an attempt to provide the UK government with a legal basis for these strikes and a viable, thought-through plan?
To the first question, I completely reject the premise of your question. You have had the President of the United States, the Secretary of War, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of State, and now I am out here today to explain to you exactly what led the President to make the decision to launch Operation Epic Fury. And President Trump does not make these decisions in a vacuum. This decision to launch this operation was based on a cumulative effect of various direct threats that Iran posed to the United States of America, and the president's feeling based on fact that Iran does pose an imminent and direct threat to the United States of America, based on the fact that they are the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, based on the fact that they were rapidly and aggressively building up their ballistic missile program to give themselves immunity within their country alongside their navy so that inside their country they could continue to create nuclear weapons and nuclear bombs, which would of course pose a risk to Americans in the region and even Americans one day here at home. And then another point on this is the president found that through these...
You see, Americans in the region. Do you see that, guys? Don't these people understand that, Shady?
No, they do, but they're not understanding on purpose so that they could try to trip her up.
Gotcha.
Extensive, exhaustive, failed negotiations with Iran that they were hell-bent on death and destruction. So again, the president was not going to be just another president on a very long list who sat back and stood by and passed the buck of this direct threat to the next administration. The president had a feeling, again, based on fact, that Iran was going to strike the United States, was going to strike our assets in the region, and he made a determination to launch Operation Epic Fury based on all of those reasons. And I would like the media to actually report on all of them,
Boom.
rather than just picking sound bites from one person in this administration and saying, oh, they're contradicting the other person. No, again, these decisions are not made in a vacuum. They are made by the president's feeling that Iran was going to strike the United States and our assets in the region, and he was not going to sit back and watch that happen. The determination was made that the president was going to strike first alongside Israel, and that has obviously been proven to be the right decision and an effective one at that. Libby.
You know, and he has intelligence that you don't because there's no leaks.
Thank you, Caroline. A two-part question for you here. First, has the president spoken with the family members of those U.S. service members that were killed? Second, given what you've outlined throughout this entire briefing, I mean, the United States has sunk a bunch of Navy ships. We've hit all of these targets. What can Americans expect the goal to be moving forward now that the U.S. has accomplished all of this? What is victory, given we've even taken out Iran's supreme leader? That was an explicit goal.
Again, victory will be determined by the commander-in-chief once the goals and the objectives that we have repeatedly laid out are fully realized. Again, we just, in the next few hours, will be achieving that dominance over the skies, which means the United States military will be raining missiles and weapons down on Iran to hit these specific targets that have been identified as crucial to take out by the Department of War. Sure, John.
Thanks so much, Caroline. Has the U.S. posture changed in regard to a nuclear North Korea, given the latest strikes on Iran and the fact that the stated goal is to make sure that Iran is not a nuclear country?
I don't have any change in position with respect to North Korea today.
Thank you. A quick follow-up. There's been reports that Ali Khamenei's son has been elected as the next supreme leader. Does the administration think that he is a part of the same regime as his father? Would they like people in the country to rise up and get him out of power?
There's reports he's been elected or that he's assuming to be elected. One of the likely options.
Pardon me, what was that?
That he's one of the likely options or that he has been elected. Okay, so we'll wait to confirm until someone actually is elected. Caitlin.
Is going to attend the dignified transfer for these families. Given what Secretary Hegseth said this morning, is it the position of this administration that the press should not prominently cover the deaths of U.S. service members?
No, it's the position of this administration that the press in this room and the press across the country should accurately report on the success of Operation Epic Fury and the damage it is doing to the rogue Iranian.
You know, it's funny, that question sounds a lot like somebody we were battling today on X today.
Isn't that
it?
interesting?
Isn't that weird?
It's so odd.
Tell me you're a Democrat without telling me you're a Democrat.
5-5.
That has threatened the lives of every single American in this room. If the Iranian regime had their choice, they would kill every single person in this room. And so we can all be very grateful that we have an administration and that we have men and women in our armed forces who are willing to sacrifice their own lives for the rest of us in this room and for every American across the country and for every troop that is based in the Middle East. That's what these...
Hegseth was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed.
That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin, and that's not what the secretary meant, and you know it. You know you are being disingenuous. There is not... We've never had a Secretary of Defense who cares more.
Drones get through or tragic things happen. It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad.
Yeah,
as you know, we cover the deaths of U.S. service members under every president.
The press does only want to make the president look bad. That's a fact. Especially you. No, listen to me. Especially you and especially CNN. And the Secretary of Defense cares deeply about our war fighters and our men and women in uniform. He travels all across this country to meet with them, to connect with them, and your network has hardly ever probably reported on that. You also had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Chairman Kane, who's a brave patriot, standing alongside the secretary at the Pentagon this morning, again expressing his condolences to these families. And I just told you that the President of the United States will be attending their dignified transfer. So please,
That's not making the president look bad. That's showcasing that.
We expect you to cover that as you should. We expect you to cover that as you should, Caitlin. But you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. That is an objectable fact.
I don't think covering troop deaths is trying to make the
if you're trying to argue right now that CNN's overwhelming coverage is not negative of President Donald Trump, I think the American people would tend to agree, and your ratings would tend to disagree with that as well. Go ahead.
Caroline, thank you so much on the school
Sure.
strike. Back to that for a minute. I understand that the U.S. does not target civilian infrastructure. That's what you said. Can you say that there's any evidence right now that it was not a U.S. strike? And then also, you didn't mention Israel in that. Is there any assessment about Israel's potential likely role in that, if at all?
Again, the Department of War is currently investigating this matter, but again, I will reaffirm that the Department of War and the United States Armed Forces do not target civilians, as does the Iranian regime, who kill and execute their own people. Christian.
Two separate issues, Caroline. First, what can you tell us about the military operation in Ecuador? And then secondly, is the president considering invoking the Defense Production Act to boost munition stockpiles while we are in this conflict?
It's not something I've heard the president consider, but as you know, the president has been in pretty direct correspondence and public correspondence with defense contractors, asking them to aggressively speed up their manufacturing of American-made weapons, which again are the best in the world. With respect to Ecuador, I would point you back to the statement released by the U.S. Southern Command. On March 3rd, Ecuadorian and U.S. military forces launched operations against designated terrorist organizations. These operations are a powerful example of the commitment of partners in Latin America and the Caribbean to combat the scourge of narco-terrorism. And together, we are taking decisive action to confront narco-terrorists who have long inflicted terror, violence, and corruption on citizens throughout the hemisphere. And with on that, I would also add that this weekend, I'm pleased to announce, the president will welcome the heads of state from 12 nations across our Western Hemisphere in Miami, Florida on Saturday. The point of this newfound Latin America summit is to promote freedom, security, and prosperity in our region. The following countries will be in attendance: Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Honduras, Panama, Paraguay, Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe some others as well. And the president will be speaking with the leaders of this country who have really formed a historic coalition to work together to address criminal narco-terrorist gangs and cartels and counter illegal and mass migration into not only the United States but the Western Hemisphere, which remains a key and top priority of this president. Thank you very much, everyone, and you'll see the president yourselves in an hour.
All right, President Donald J. Trump, Karoline Leavitt, a wonderful press secretary, and the news, not so much, Shady Groove. And that's why we urge you to come watch the show, the MG Show, every day. Share it with your family and friends, where we are no BS on the narratives. We dig through them, we sift through them, and we find out what's real and what's not real. And again, this show has been attacked for the last, how many years are we on, Shady? 7, 8?
Oh, we're in 8.
8 years, okay. Why? Why are they so worried about our little show, Shady Groove? Real quick, Lydia says, to my three heroes, Jeff, Shady, and Yeti, thank you so much for today. Love you guys. But why are we such a threat to these people?
I don't know. I find it funny how they're so concerned with focusing on us as opposed to focusing on what it is that we're telling people. Like, I try to explain to people that people are associated with Roger Stone, and it's clear that they're associated with Roger Stone, but all of a sudden I'm the problem because Billy is giving them retweets and they're getting attention from Dan Bongino.
Interesting, isn't it?
But I do need to regress, Jeff, and I need to wrap a couple things up here real quick if I could for Caroline.
Yeah, let me just, Jeff's Instagram is on fire. Instagram.com/JeffStagram68. JEFFSTAGRAM 68. Get over there and follow. Sorry, Shady. Shameless plug.
No, 100%. Actually, that's amazing. Guys, if you are on Instagram, I need to get back over there on Instagram. I am not yet. But Jeff is actually getting some traction for the MG Show here with some of the shorts over there on Instagram and getting some new interaction. But Jeff, one of the things that we do here is we learn things, don't we? We learn things at the MG. We come to the MG Show and we hear people in the media talk and they say these things and we're like, what the hell are you talking about? So we have to go learning things, like sometimes word of the day. So today we're going to be talking about this interesting word. I'd like to know, Jeff, do you know this word right here? Avuncular. Yeah, avuncular. We're learning new terms today, relating to an uncle, relating to the relationship between men and their siblings and children.
Siblings as children, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, what the hell? Why are you talking about that? Good God Almighty! Oh. Washington Post review and New York Times review statements made over the weekend about the Ayatollah Khomeini as an avuncular figure with bushy white beard and an easy smile. This is the way that your commie news network reports the news.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you 3 seconds? 3, 2, 1. The Ayatollah Khomeini becomes Santa Claus.
I mean, wow. Crazy.
Does that make a lot of sense to you? Does that tell us anything, Jeff, about our communist infiltrated news networks and all of the people that are deciding that, oh, Donald Trump is too stupid to pick the person who's leading the literal head of every intelligence agency on planet Earth? He's so stupid. He puts a person in there that is somehow oppositionally opposed to his agenda.
That's right.
That's what we're here to believe.
Let's go one more Q proof before we go. Okay.
Oh, let's go one more.
This is regarding trafficking. Okay. Like, who is the financial backer of human trafficking? Q asked us. So on 3/3 yesterday, 2026, the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem testifies that Biden regime paid child traffickers to sponsor unaccompanied minors coming across the border. Okay.
No.
Yes. So 9/23/2020, Q post 4742. Political leaders and family follow with possible ties to sex trafficking. Attacks barrage by media signify what? Sex trafficking, safeguarding women and children, topics that unite all political factions against common enemy, faith in humanity, those who you are taught to trust the most. Now let's listen to Kristi Noem, Shady Grove. This is awesome.
This is awesome.
Children were lost by the Biden administration, not tracked. We've located about 145,000 of them, and we've done that through the investigative work of our Homeland Security Investigations team. They are phenomenal at the work that they do, and they specialize in child trafficking, sex trafficking, and finding individuals that would perpetuate that harm against our children. The one thing that has been challenging is that under the Biden administration, the government paid sponsors in HHS in order to host these children. And those sponsors, many times, we found instances where they trafficked these children themselves. So under that administration, we not only had children that were in this country as a part of a program, the government was paying individuals that were knowingly trafficking them and abusing them. That has stopped. We have gone through and found these children and put them back with their families when we have the opportunity to do so, and with loved ones that will care for them. And I would say that even in one case, we have other countries where we've been working with them to get their children back home, where we've been prevented returning these families back and helping them to be reunified by activist judges. But we will continue to work to ensure that these individuals and these children that were abused by the trafficking over the border have the opportunity to be brought back to their families and to their loved ones going forward.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, guys. I mean, why did the news media report that? No, because Biden's health was okay, right?
Did Owen Schroyer report that?
No.
Oh,
no. Did the MG show report that?
No. Did Alex?
Oh, wait, yes, we did.
Yeah, the MG show did. Did Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes report that?
No.
Do you understand what is happening here? Guys, listen, we're having a big boy conversation here today, and we're going to be having a big boy conversation from here forward. This is no nonsense. This is not just a joke coming on here. We take this very seriously. The two of us take this very seriously. We have a lot of fun, and we love each and every one of you, and we love the opportunity to be able to do this. There's really nothing that I would rather do more than what I'm doing here right now every day. I'm telling you the truth. It's like we were made for it. But at the end of the day, the big boy conversation is, where in the hell are you getting your dumb talking points from? To anybody that brings dumb talking points, I don't care who you are. You bring dumb talking points, and without any ability to undergird them with something substantial, then you're going to be mocked by the MG show. So put on your big boy pants. If you want to fight in the world of swords and spears, you might want to bring some plated armor. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Mac. God bless you, sir. I saw that Mac is here.
I called him this weekend with Mama Matrix.
Oh my goodness! You should have tapped me into that call, because I have been dying to talk to this gentleman. Number one, not to mention of his elation from his newfound beautiful love in his life, which I'm so excited about. but about the realistic perspective of a real person who was actually smuggled out of Iran, who might actually not be alive had he not been smuggled out of Iran right now, is looking back to what's happening amongst the people that are his family, his true family, and saying, oh my goodness, there may be a future for me where I reconnect with that. Do you think that all those people that were out, and you know what I saw, Jeff, over the weekend?
He might be able to go see his homeland.
Yes, and you know what I saw in New York? I saw people, you're going to love this, I saw people walking with flags. And normally people that walk with flags are upsetting to me. But this was a different situation. What I saw were people that were walking with the Iranian flag, the American flag, and the Israeli flag, all in the same damn march, all walking together, all three on the same page, all three excited for what happened. Where are all the Palestinian people? Where are all of those people that were telling you that they cared for you more than anybody else? Well, you didn't see any Mexican flags. I didn't see a single Mexican flag marching with the people that had Iranian flags and had American flags and Jewish flags. Not a single Mexican flag there. Not a Colombia flag. Not a El Salvadorian flag or Guatemalan one either. I find that all very interesting.
Yeah. I got more Q proofs too, but we'll table those for tomorrow. Shady Groove, we were right. We're always wrong until we're right. And you know what? The people that are worried about their ego, put your ego down, dude. I mean, I don't even know how that guy can get his head through the door, Shady Groove. And I unfollowed him, and that's to you, Scott. I'm sorry. We brought you on this show. We liked you, and then you had to call us cult-like, Shady Groove. What? I mean,
well,
and then you act like you're the victim. Stop it.
First he runs over there and gets under the dress of Dilly. So there's that.
Yeah, he got Dilly's dress. All right, guys, we love you very much. God bless you all. Where we go one, we go all. We still pray for Scott. I still like him, but I'm not going to follow his bullshit anymore. See you guys tomorrow.
Tulsi bad.
Fear not.
Fear not, brothers, fear not, sisters. We are not helpless in this fight. The veil is tearing, truth is blistering, and I must see to bring the light. They hid the shadows, buried the deeds, but the gift is here. Vision we need, illumination burning through the lies they've spun. Their dark actions now on full display, undone. Sleeping through the night, eyes wide open, hearts on fire. The deception crumbles in the blaze of truth's light. Fear not, we rise. Have faith in humanity, have faith in you. Let the light guide us through. Do you think it's coincidence they lock the doors, ban the faithful from the house of the Lord? Anti-American, anti-God agenda in plain sight, trying to kill the spirit, dim the guiding light. One must only look, it's all there to see. The war on freedom, the war on you and me. But chains are breaking, darkness retreats. The people are standing on their God-given feet. Guide us through. Find peace through prayer. Kneel and proclaim this is biblical. We're called by name. The storm may rage, but the dawn is breaking. Trumpets of truth, the sleepers are waking. Fear not, we are not helpless enough. Have seen it's the only way. Vision is ours, illumination stays. Darkness falls as America prays. Let light guide you, let faith be your shield. The republic stands, the awakening is real. Fear not, we rise.
www.mg.show. Boom. 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 Boom.